Welcome everyone to another episode of Konya mo Takamario. We are here again with episode 41 to bring you all the latest news that have happened over the past 2 days, because that's really all that really matters right now. Before we start, let me introduce you to who is in the studio today with us. We have, first off, from everywhere, Turbos86.
We have a studio!
Yes!
Yes!
We actually do have a studio, by the way. Next up, we have Invis.
Aloha.
Aloha. Next up, and not last, we have Ouroboros.
Good evening.
Good evening, and now least we have Sandra.
What's up?
Yes.
Yeah, level up.
It's a promotion system.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna talk like that for the whole show.
as
Yeah.
with our usual tradition, let's get to some headline news from this past week.
What's going on, bitch?
Man, that news theme this time. So,
Sound effects manager or something.
yes. Let's roll.
So, the biggest thing I think that happened this week, I think it was this week, was that the 9th and 10th gen members got their own official Amiibo blogs. Yay!
Yeah. How's it go?
Vlogs!
What?
Very exciting, very exciting. Something, I guess, that could have been expected. Actually, there was a funny story regarding this. So, as you guys are all aware of, Morning Musume recently went to Hawaii for a fan club tour.
Woo!
And during that tour, one of the fans was talking to one of Morning Musume's managers, and they were talking about the 9th and 10th gen. And so the fan goes up to the manager and he says, "So I was wondering, are 9th and 10th gen ever gonna get blogs? Because I mean, Smile Age 2nd gen already has their own Amiibo blog, and they got theirs pretty quickly." And then the manager goes to the fan and says, "Yeah, I don't think so, because it's not like Machan would be the blogging type, so she's not really good at blogging." And then the fan was like, "Oh, okay, I guess not then."
Or thinking.
Thinking.
Or communicating.
Or sitting still for more than 60 seconds?
Right. And then so like a week or two later, they come out with blogs. So now that fan is like, whoa.
No, the
Trolls.
manager's telling the truth.
Yeah.
So far, Machan's only posted once,
Yeah, she
That's
just her
true.
intro blog, right?
Yeah,
That's
intro
it.
blog.
So.
while everybody
It's like
else
fake-
did more than... What? Oh, 5. More
I
than
looked
5.
at 4,
Oh,
I
wow.
think.
The only thing
No,
actually
yeah.
I'm surprised at is that anyone hasn't spammed the blog to get blacklisted by Amoeba yet, because she had a blog previously on the Pocket Morning, and
Uh-huh.
her entries on there are like really crazy. And also every time there's a concert blog set up, she's the only one that blogs like every day.
She and the Mizuki gets their own share one this time.
Right,
for-
they have
for
a
Pokemon.
Pon blog right now as well.
Yes.
So
Oh.
if you want, go and subscribe to Pocket Morning, which you can find on Android and maybe iPhone.
I think it is on there.
Probably.
For
yeah, so
350 yen.
a month. It's totally worth it though. Pom pom.
Pong pong.
Well, only during tours, really, though. I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess only tours you get all special good stuff.
Yes.
Anyways, enough of that. So, what are your guys, before I get to in detail about it, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole blog thing for 9th and 10th gen? Anything that surprised you? Anything that take too long for them to get their own blog? Or
Yeah, it took them long enough.
yeah, it seemed to have taken a while before we got, to get it. But now that we've got it, it's pretty good. It's awesome.
it's really cool. We do get to see a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that we've kind of been spoiled with all the other older senpais, and actually everyone else in Hello Project. Finally get to see them coming from 10th gen directly now.
Yeah, and you get a lot of insight into basically how they write, because you see basically like Daishi writes like a regular person
Right. Right.
compared to some of the other people. And,
That's actually very a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up because so one of the things that we're gonna go into really quickly for the 9th and 10th gen blogs is that now that they do have their own blogs, we've seen, even though it's only been like 4 or 5 entries for these from these girls, that each of the girls are bringing out a lot of their own personal character already, such a short period of time. So we'll go through a couple of things, a couple of examples from these blog posts. Like for example, Eddie Pon's very first blog post was titled "Ikuta wa watashi dake," Ikuta Enina, and so that may not mean much to most of us, but a lot of fans are thinking it's kind of a jab at the AKB. No, sorry, the NK and N46.
Whatever something.
The other one that
the
exists.
other one that has
somewhere.
46 and not 48.
Oh yeah, the
NG
official
46.
rifle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Ikuta. So they think it's a slight jab, probably in a joking way. I don't know, maybe they know each other, maybe they don't. Whatever. But anyways,
They made it lost.
maybe. I
I
don't know.
want to see them fight.
Also like to see them fight.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So that's something interesting that's come out of Eddie Pon's very first post. I'm sorry, and the translation of her first blog title is that I'm the only Ikuta out there. Scandal.
Truth.
Scandal. Alright. Next up, we have Kuryu. I think this is her
Paluka.
second post, or
First or second.
first, one of the very first ones, yeah. And she took a line straight out of one of the recent One Piece volumes, number 67, and pretty interesting because she's apparently now pushing the fact that she really likes One Piece to all her fans.
But everybody likes One Piece.
I don't like One Piece,
I
but
don't
I
like
might
One
have to
Piece
start
either.
liking
But
it now.
everybody in Japan does. Okay.
Well, everyone in China likes One Piece as well too. But
So
Oh.
it really means not much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting that she keeps referring to One Piece in all her blog posts.
She's a kid.
It's a good point. Next thing we have up that's interesting is we have Riho on her blog posts starting to leak a little bit of Hiroshima dialect in her writing. It's not that big of a thing like when Reina types in her Hakata pen, but it's still like when she talks, she doesn't use her Hiroshima dialect unless they like ask her specifically to say something so they can say it's cute or whatever.
So
But-
as first, can you read what she wrote in the dialect?
No.
Damn it.
Well, and she does try to like inform you because she mentioned, I think in the one episode, the one entry where she was talking about like her eye being messed up, she actually said, you know, in Hiroshima we call it this, and then she just kind of
Yeah.
left with that.
Yeah,
And it was like,
so-
oh, that's kind of cool.
It is kind
Dropping
of
knowledge.
I wonder if, I mean, because I think it's always been a long-standing practice of when you join Morning Musume, and you move to Tokyo and kind of start your career off, everyone kind of at first drops their dialect so they can start speaking quote-unquote normal Japanese, at the Tokyo style, and then eventually, once you stabilize your character, you can start letting your dialect back in. So we may be at that point right now.
So fast.
Very
Super
fast.
Ace.
Yeah.
Next Reina. Oh.
Possibly. The only last thing I want to bring up, because it's kind of sad, but not really related to personality or anything like that, is in the short, I think this is only a few hours after the 9th Gen blog was debuted, their number of subscribers to their blog had already surpassed the Smiley 2nd Gen blog. So,
Well, it is Morning
not-
Musume.
yeah,
Surprising? I don't think that's surprising at all, though.
Smiley just had like several months of a head start, if not close to a year.
So
I'm still not surprised. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right. Okay.
Still not
So
surprised.
let's move on then.
Actually, I think the drop-off rate would be pretty high. So I wouldn't be surprised if Smileage they had more people early on, and then now there's actually less.
I mean, people are unsubscribing.
Yeah,
It's harsh.
because well, Smileage 2nd Gen.
well, just for your information, it's very easy to subscribe. Just click of button. To unsubscribe, you have to go through many steps. So I think They have to
Yeah,
do
I don't
something
think
really
people
bad for
go through
people
the
to
effort
to
to-
unsubscribe.
Oh, okay.
They just ignore it.
Yeah,
Ah.
I mean, I'm still subscribed to the Kaito Reina blog, and that hasn't been.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
So
Anyway.
with that, let's move on to our main discussion topics of this episode. As you can guess, we are going to cover the 11th Gen audition and results. So first off, now that we know the results, it was announced, I believe on Friday at the dress rehearsal, which really no one was expecting since it was such a quick turnaround from when they fed us some audition footage. But what do you guys think about how the whole thing turned out? Any part of the results or the whole audition process?
What
I think-
process?
It
The
generally
hidden
surprised
process that
everybody.
nobody got to see.
Yeah. Yeah, we just came kind of out of nowhere. I don't think anybody expected them to release something just because it was, the celebration, like their anniversary. Because they haven't done anything majorly like that before. So it was like, oh, yeah, now? It's kind of just shocking.
But when you say it was done at the dress rehearsal, does that mean there was like no fans there or anything? It was just.
It was an open dress
It
rehearsal
was
this
open
time.
dress rehearsal.
Oh right, so there was fans there, right? Because that would have been
Not a
really
lot of them,
awesome.
so there are only about.
They didn't announce it to no one.
They announced
Well,
it
they
to
in-
no one.
Well, they
Everybody
invited the
clapped.
media reporters.
Yeah, it was a lot of media people, I think.
I suppose the people there knew something was going on if there was extra press around.
I don't think that. I think they were expecting an announcement, but I don't think they were expecting something audition related. But everyone kind of realized it when the Tsunku version of Wakuteka Take a Chance started playing.
Yeah.
Came out on stage, and then that's kind of like the signal for.
It's a signal for Zuki to fall on the floor.
Whoa,
Every time.
whoa.
Poor floor. But I mean, it was just crazy of them to announce it literally one day after Satoyama Life showed us who was the 6 people. I mean, they haven't even had the the training camp or anything video shown, and already we know who it is.
Very good point. So Satoyama Life aired that Thursday night at something, and
Yes.
that very next Friday afternoon they.
Yep.
It's very, very weird timing. It's
Shows you how useless Satoyama is.
I think she would argue otherwise.
Useless.
Does it make you
to
wonder if
everyone
they
but-
planned that? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, do you think they planned it, or did they plan it, or I mean, what are you going with it?
I'm definitely thinking that the idea was to try to shock you and make you think that it wasn't really going to happen right away. That's why because who watches Satoyama Life but fans, so they would have no idea like, oh look, we're going to get the auditions, it's going to be the same as always, and then boom, we're done. It definitely sounds like the idea was to catch you off guard rather than for you to have to go through the predictability of like, here's the auditions, now we're going to see it get narrowed down, we're going to get the introduction to all of these girls. They just went, boom, here you go. You get the results, deal with it.
And why would they do that?
Saves money, for one thing.
Wow.
And if anything, we know how stingy they are. But at the same time, I think it also prevents you from getting too attached to anybody else in the case that if they felt like anybody else wasn't going to be strong enough to ever come up.
That's actually a very good point, because from the recent 10th Gen audition, and also the Smiley 2nd Gen audition, they had quite a long process, or at least longer than what we got this time. And a lot of people did get attached to people who did not get in. But that's happened every audition. Maybe they finally had enough with the hate every time someone did not get in.
Well, they didn't do it fast enough this time. People already got attached to one of the other girls who didn't make it this time for this
right.
audition.
Or the one that should have got in but still has not gotten in 4 times in a row now.
Yes. So
Wow, we're dodging the name dropping, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's
We're dodging.
that one girl. But yeah, let's move on to
Yeah.
that.
Might have possibly been standing behind Tsunku in the when he was announcing it.
clapping
Who might
very
or
hard.
might not have
Oh,
been
man.
right there And
God,
wanting to
it's
be
not-
happy.
The one who looked more happy than the actual girl who got in.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Ah.
But let's move on to that. So I would say that this particular audition ended with results that have not been met with 100% positive reactions, and most auditions end with at least a pretty decent reception overall. But this one, I would say the crowd is split about 50-50 on why or whether or not they approved of Sakura getting in first place. So let's go into that a bit. What are your guys' thoughts on her? Did you approve of her getting in as the only one, or would you be
Or
okay
at
with her?
all.
Oh yeah, or at all.
Oh what? Oh.
Well, I want to make a quick sub point there is like when you say like just her, I always thought that it was their intention to only get one person, so
Really?
that's never a factor. Yeah,
What pointed that out for you? Was it something along the audition process?
just their goal, their major goal was to find that one like songstress, whatever their title was,
They
Supreme.
never- Well,
Utahime?
that was
Super
pretty
Utahime.
ambiguous.
Yeah, I suppose it does make
or-
sense
Yeah.
because they basically want a stylish singing girl.
Yeah, so
Or
like
stylish
trying to
singing
shotgun
princess,
method
should I
that
say.
is pretty hard.
It easily could have been stylish saying girls.
The biggest trick that I ran into, or the biggest troll that I ran into, was that interview with Karin back when they were starting the summer auditions, and Karin was like, yeah, since the audition this time is titled Utahime, I'm gonna focus on the singing aspect. That totally made it sound like she was gonna get in.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, actually, I'm with Infiz on getting the impression that they were looking for just one person. And what kind of said that to me is, the name, they're actually specifically looking for a type of person instead of just, getting anyone.
They didn't
For the-
specify like singular plural.
yeah, but 10th Gen was like, we're looking for someone Genki, right? Or something like that, or
Not
Smile.
for one Genki person.
crap. It's easier to find Genki people than
People who
getting
can
someone
sing.
who can sing. Yeah, for
No, they
idols.
keep finding
But-
one person they can sing. They just keep avoiding her completely. As if she's got rabies or something.
I know, but
Bigger and better
Uh,
things, guys. Bigger and better things.
Yeah.
but the
better-
second thing is that right now with with the 9th Gen and the 10th Gen, it's only logical that they're not looking for a huge addition into the group. And it was that logic that I kind of held on to, even though
yes,
they
we
are
have to.
not
We
logical.
need to catch up to the other group size.
Yeah, we're pretty far away from 48, man. We need-
Yeah.
Well,
we
see,
need to get
that would probably be
38
the
more girls.
anti-sign, though. Like, I would think that once they do that, they're crossing a border that you couldn't cross back. Like, if once you get to that high number, then you're just kind of saying, oh, well, now we can't say that thing that we normally say to when they, why don't we have more people? And you'd be throwing
Why don't
away
we add a number to the
card.
group's name?
Yeah, or something like that. You throw away a lot of cards when you start copying somebody else that blatantly.
Yeah, there's no need for them to copy them, and they're not going to be honest.
I don't think they can afford that monetarily.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Tsunku's already got his other group, hasn't he, based up at the backstage, and that's got a stupidly large number of people in it.
Oh, but
Yes.
that's his own money.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he wouldn't need to pursue that with Morning Musume. But we're getting off the point.
Right.
They probably were only looking for one, maybe two at most, because they figure the amount they've got in there now is a good number of girls. They only need somebody to replace the next person who graduates, really. I suppose.
So they're looking for just one or two to replace the two 6th gen who are most likely
Basically,
graduating
yeah.
sometime soon.
Yeah, that's my viewpoint.
Okay.
Just a shame they got a bit wide of the mark. But no, she can sing, but she hasn't exactly got the looks.
So let's go into that. I mean, there's been many points brought up that have been against why she should not have made it into the 11th gen, and I would
Okay.
say the overwhelming the most common point is the looks aspect of Oda Sakura. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
You can't see it, but I raised my hand in agreement.
Yes, I call on you, Senria.
Yeah, for looks wise, she is not up to it. And it kind of sucks too, because she is the only one. So the camera is always pointing at her when it comes to talking about the 11th gen, and they're not pointing at someone who is, well, she's not fugly, but just in Morning Musume, there are a lot of girls who are prettier than her, but she is the one getting the attention, all the attention this time. So that kind of stinks.
The main thing is that if she's going to be the singer, she's going to have more camera time than the other girls as well.
Yeah, that's very important too.
Actually, there was a joke about that kind of where it's like, oh, well, now they've got the perfect person to be in the background singing everything great.
Background singer.
So
The whole background track will just be so
They can
awesome.
get rid of Tsunku now. Awesome.
Yes, do it.
Yeah, but the thing is, she'll be taking Riho's lines. And whereas...
I don't think that's gonna happen in the end. Well,
Well,
at least
okay
not
then.
until
Not the
next
lines in the
generation
old
shift,
songs,
maybe.
but in the new songs, she'll probably be the main, the main vocalist. Or do you think she's being trained up to take over Reina's lines when she graduates eventually?
Probably.
I think they're good. I think for the next single, they're going to push her as one of the main focus, not because she can sing well or because she would look well or whatever, but just to justify that this audition was looking for someone who could sing.
Yeah, so
It would take
just one single after.
But regardless
well,
of
and
what
then they'll
the-
see what happens for the next one.
So
regardless
it's
of what
the
the
Eka
theme of the
effect.
audition though is, the new girls always get the main focus in the next single.
Yeah,
Was it?
that has been a thing for a while.
Well, it depends on how many lines she gets.
So
Yeah.
their single's going to be a solo, is it?
No, I mean even I think that even goes back
as
as far as 6th gen, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So
it
6th gen
was-
was so different though.
well, yeah, because of Reina. Well, but 7th gen, like even if it wasn't the focus, like the beginning of what was the song that came out when Koharu came out, Iropo? Like,
yeah.
she got the beginning lines
Got
for that.
center,
Like, yeah,
camera
that beginning
spot.
moment thing.
Yeah,
I
but
think
So
yeah,
even
you
if they're
do-
not center singer, they still get that moment at the beginning, kind of thing.
yeah, just
But
the
I think
moment.
Oda is going to get even more, just because the audition was themed to be looking for the one who can sing.
Well, I'm taking the standpoint that she's like this generation's version of Koharu, where she'll get points, but she's not gonna overtake Riho or Reina until Reina leaves.
I
but,
hope
you know,
I hope you're right. I don't really want to see her.
she's going to be like the side by side.
Don't worry, she's gonna get a mysterious injury caused by some cider bottles.
Oh. Oh.
So
That's
we'll be
rather
tripping on them.
specific. I thought you were gonna go with the less likely weird illness like anemia, and then
Well, like
That's
injured.
reserved for one particular girl.
It's definitely going to be injuries through bottles and being sat on by a large member of the group.
Oh, snap.
ooh,
That's like combining insults into one statement now.
We need to
He
play
didn't say
Santa
name.
Maria now.
He didn't say name.
But so let's go back to the topic now. I mean, you guys are right making a good point that she enters in as the only girl in the 11th gen now, and that means all the focus goes on her regardless of what she does, whether it's positive or negative.
Mhm.
There's no one to split the attention with, so I think anytime anything comes up with like new member related material, the camera's always going to be on her. So a lot of the concerns from the fans were that she doesn't necessarily have the looks to back up the amount of screen time she will be getting
Right.
in the future. It's interesting. A lot of fans are coming out and saying like, yeah, there's no denying that she has singing talent, but it's really the physical aspect that's holding her back, and it's a big deal because that's what this whole industry is about.
Right.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, looking at a lot of the Western viewpoints, I've been, I'm a member of a few of the Western chat sites and stuff. There seems to be a huge movement of like 95% of the Western people are all, ooh, I've got a new favourite in Morning Musume now. she's so much better than everybody else, etc. And she's so cute. So I wonder why.
Yeah, but don't they have a new favorite every week?
New is always better, you know?
Yeah,
Possibly.
people always shift into the new person, and it's always kind of made me wonder if Western people just kind of want to be in on it at the beginning so that they can always be
Just
like
say it.
first.
Yep.
I think it's
Or-
that
or-
they
yeah.
stretch the word
Mentality.
favorite very thinly among
Right.
idol fandoms.
But whereas personally, in a way, I'm happy because my favourite in Morning Musume hasn't changed. And is in no danger of changing. So,
That works.
because if Karen had got in, it would have been shaky territory at that point. So,
Well, at least that's a legitimate reason. Not like, oh, it's the new girl!
Yeah, you will
First!
change for the better.
well, yeah, I've been following Karen for a couple of years. Ever since she came in as an egg and just blew everyone away. It's amazing how we always shift the conversation back to Karen, or I always do.
You shift.
Yeah, what a coincidence. That always seems to happen.
It does.
I don't know why
I'll
that's
change my
happening.
photo by
It's
next
weird.
week.
She was not even in the audition.
Anyways,
But
yeah, go
right.
ahead.
I got them the point that regarding this audition, I think they did good is that they chose someone from the eggs and not someone from the outside. That was actually something I was very happy about.
I
because
agree with
for,
that as well. Yeah.
yeah, for the whole time, I think we've been talking. Whenever we talk about new Morning Musume auditions, I've been saying that they should be looking for someone within the eggs because they would come up with experience. They would come up with a certain sense of publicity from the fans already, so we kind of know who they are, and it's just a much safer bet, especially this time when they're looking for just one person. Well, they found only just one person. At least it was from an egg and not just some random girl from nowhere under a bridge or something.
I don't think the fan still knows her well enough,
That's
even
true.
though she's been a thing for a year now.
but at least-
all the generic consensus is that hey, that I think I've seen her in the Smartish audition. I think.
Yeah, but at least she has experience. That is the part I'm more happier.
Well, what about the other eggs? They all have way more experience than her.
Well, yeah. I'm saying I'm just happy that they found someone from the egg. I'm not saying she is the best choice from the eggs because I can think of two just right from my head.
Alright.
That would be better than her.
Okay.
Hey, look, my ton wrote another entry about Oda. That's like, what, 4 now? She's actually
Who?
writing her vlog.
Who?
Machan.
Machan posted?
Nice.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
she posted again. It's amazing, and it's actually about our current topic, so that's amazing
Breaking news.
Just listening to us.
This is news happening right now.
Right. But back to Sanrio's point, it's actually, I'm glad. Part of me is glad that a member of the eggs got picked, but then majority, or not a majority, but there's a large portion of fans out there that don't really consider her as a real eggs member, because really all she did was fail Smiley second gen, get into eggs as like a temporary 1-year thing, and then now she's got in. And compared to the other eggs out there, she hasn't really put in her time. I mean, she's definitely had training that makes a difference compared to the non-egg contestants. But if you're gonna, for the sake of saying, I'm glad someone got picked from the eggs so that their hard work pays off, she's very much on the new side of the eggs, so a lot of the egg fans still aren't as happy with this selection as with, a more veteran egg member.
Right.
To show that
Well, yeah.
hard work really pays off.
And of
I
course,
can
I only
imagine.
said, and of course, I only said that because I had no idea who she was, and I didn't know how long she was in the eggs. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
But it's
I can
better-
imagine
better
if
than one side.
if you're a pure egg fan, then that would definitely bother you because you're always under the expectation that being in the eggs is supposed to help you get into a position somewhere, and we're increasingly getting the idea that that's not true. So it's just kind of shattering the dream.
It'll be interesting to see, like, there's been a big trend of, after you fail an audition, now the people who are close to getting in are getting accepted into eggs now, and they seem to be getting spotlight in multiple auditions further down the line. So that could be a change that, again, favors more of the newer people in auditions, and doing an egg thing is maybe just kind of a workaround to get into another group later time rather than the original eggs, or the people who have been in eggs for several years, like working from scratch.
Yeah, I like that trend. That
It's
they would
like-
fail so close from getting in and then get put into eggs. Because
Yeah, it's
what
kind
they're
of like
missing
they
is
use,
experience.
it's kind of like they're using them as a using the eggs as like a holding pot for people who could go off easily and get get a place in another idol group, and they're going, well, these people are quite good, so we're going to keep them here for a year or so, stop them going somewhere else, give them a bit more training, and then put them into a group.
But not just that. If they have the eggs for how many years they had them already, they need to justify it by building it up. They can't just be happy with the few girls who have been around and have done nothing because they built them to a real job. They need to build it up. They need to get more eggs and keep them up.
Well, right, like how do you reward the eggs who've been there for a few years?
The reward should be getting the spotlight when it comes to auditions. That is the best part.
But never guaranteeing them.
Doesn't give them.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're
Well,
going to make it.
guaranteeing is hard to say. For example, if Moggy has been in there for 5 or 6 years,
You would
I still
assume
don't want to
she
see
would
her
not
in.
suck after 5 or 6 years.
But she is still ugly. So I like just because they have been okay. Depending on how they pick the eggs, if they would pick anyone like Moggy, then there should not be a guarantee. If they pick it very carefully, then I wouldn't mind being a guarantee for at least a debut into a new group or like a side group.
So
Up egg.
Even if you spend like half of your adolescent life with the eggs, you still aren't entitled to anything?
That is only because looking at how UFA they are picking their eggs right now.
So they
So-
should be more picky when choosing egg members?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. If I am the one to do it, I would be much more specific when I pick the egg members from auditions, and then I would build them up into something the moment they get it.
That sounds good. But let's get back to
Yeah, let's shift back
Sakura.
into Oda.
Because
Yeah,
there's
into
a lot,
Oda
lot of egg
here.
talk.
Yeah.
So, one of the things for the fans that have been defending her have been saying that the fans at her on her side admit that she's lacking a little bit in the looks department, but at the same time, at the same time, her singing abilities should more than compensate for her lack in looks, whatever that may be. Do you guys feel that that's a fair statement to say, or
What
is-
singing ability? They showed us her singing like 2 lines in the YouTube announcement video.
Right, but because of those 2 lines, the entire world thinks she's an amazing singer, and most of the foreign world thinks she's better than anyone in one scenario.
Great.
I wouldn't
Wow,
think that,
that's
but
a
I
little
think
bit of
she-
a stretch.
I think she can sing very well for someone who just got into Morning Musume. I think
For someone who just got in, right? Yeah, I agree as well.
Yeah.
But to say that she's better than someone with 10 years of veteran
Yeah,
idol
that's,
experience.
Not
that's
10 years.
jumping the gun. That's like hyped. Like it's like the oh my god, it's a new person. They must be the best ever.
she
It's
sings
just
better than
hype.
Machan.
But the thing is, I mean, if they put a decent quantity of makeup on her, it'll
And
make her look
do
better.
plastic surgery on a majority of her face.
Well,
And a
then
mask.
again, remember, she's still only 13 at the moment.
She's
Something
not
like
allowed
that.
makeup. It's super
So
Utahime, man.
Ouch.
Oh,
No, that would be
works
messed
against
up. Like, Supin, you have to
Yeah.
be without makeup all the time. Maybe that's why they picked her. Because when people say like, "Oh, she doesn't look that great," they'll be like, "It's because she's not wearing makeup."
Oh,
And they'll just be
I
like,
get that.
okay.
That's pretty
but the
smart.
thing is, I mean, she could grow up into somebody really good looking. I mean, look at Captain, for instance.
She
So
was
half
cute
of
when she was
her, she used to be quite plain, fair to be honest,
Playing.
and she's grown into probably one of the best looking girls in the entire Hello project now.
But
Well, that's a definite good point though. That we're talking about like these people who are really young and still have a lot of ways to grow and change. It's hard to say like, oh, she's definitely gonna be this look for forever because that's obviously not true. I mean, we've seen that happen to a lot of people, like a lot of the kids
Rena
that
Poo.
were in HP. Yeah, like
What?
that.
Zenitsu was always
Yeah, exactly. Well, she wasn't when she first joined,
Yeah, she
to be
was.
honest. She wasn't that
Jun-jun.
good looking.
Risako, maybe.
Sako is kind of the opposite example for this.
Yeah,
discussion.
but point being, you can't. I'm saying that there's that
Uh,
unpredictability factor. I'm not saying
Oh.
which
So she
direction
can
it's
be
gonna
even
go
more
in.
ugly. Okay,
Okay, that's.
I see your point.
So much hate.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't know what the future holds for her appearance.
Right.
Yeah,
That's very
that's the
true.
point.
Yeah, but then do you guys think the fans will give her that chance? Because it takes a long time to mature out like that.
I don't think they've got a choice, really.
I would like them to, but I know how much like Aika hate there has been for reasons or another,
Right,
and
I
I know
mean,
that
see,
people are
They
opinionated.
may not have a choice, they're gonna see her, but this whole initial reaction could kind of shorten her career, or at least put a big cap on it from what potentially could be.
Right.
I mean, because Aika started out, and as well as Koharu from their auditions as the only girl in their auditions, and they got whatever reaction they got from the initial first few months or whatever. I think played a heavy role in her career down the line. I mean, because all the hate that Aika got at the very beginning from not picking Kika or Yukiden, that stayed with her until she graduated, even after
Even today.
today.
Yep.
Yeah. So once people's opinions are set, it's really hard to break them. So it is
Yeah.
kind of a risk.
Yeah.
Won't
And
deny
again,
that.
it sucks that she is the only one, so it's even harder to change. For
It
for
does
example,
make
if
everything harder, yeah.
if there's like 4 girls in the generation, it's easier to be like, oh well, that girl changed. Hey, that other girl changed for the better. I'm liking this whole generation more. But oh well, there's only one girl here. She hasn't changed
Hey.
yet, so I still don't like 11th gen.
That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
still,
easy to
that's
do that.
that's better for the fans as well, though. It's easier for us to ignore one person than ignore 4.
Oh.
That is true, and if 50% of the fans seem to be positive about it, then that's not bad odds, really. I mean, 50% of the fan base are happy with her there. That's a pretty good score.
That's actually a really good point. The 50% approximately is supporting her right now. But in one of the
The rest will
discussion-
ignore her.
Well, in one of the discussion threads, actually, for Sakura after she was officially made 11th gen, one person brought up the fact that everyone really needs to be honest with themselves, because when Oda Sakura first appeared on the Satayama finalist episode, all of the threads were trashing on her looks, and now only after she's become an official member have they started defending her. So people are questioning how genuine that defense of her character is.
But then again, she's had a haircut now, so she's all of a sudden stylish.
Right, that haircut makes all the difference.
Haircut, the answer to everything by Tsunku.
Yeah.
Haircut made it work. Yeah.
Ask
That's
you,
why Shortcut did so well. Oh my god.
The year of short hair.
So moving away from the physical aspects, let's talk about her character a little bit. What do you guys think about that aspect of her?
Well, so far from what we see, she is very calm, very quiet, and she has no reaction to anything.
I don't think it's no reaction to it. I think it's more calm reaction to it. Which is certainly a good foil if they want to throw Machan at her all the time. I mean, it's,
I think if they put her with Machan all the time, she'll probably give herself an email.
Oh snap!
Well, there's
Machan,
pictures of
please
her
go.
coming out now, goofing around with the other girls, so it looks like she has actually got a similar kind of attitude
You mean
to
she has
some
a
of the other newer
personality?
girls. Yeah, apparently so.
What
But
are
you
the
guys-
odds?
There's some photo
guys
of her pulling faces with all the rest of the girls.
oh yeah,
All the time
funny
I thought
faces
she's
and
a
stuff.
robot.
She could be, man. What if this is like the beta test for Tsunku's robot?
Interesting.
Okay.
Can I get on the beta test too?
I think you have to talk to Tsunku about that.
Okay, I'll tweet him.
Yeah, we'll call him afterwards. But do you guys think her personality is good for being a one-person generation? 'Cause
Well,
that
she
is
has
what
to. She has to have this to defend herself, to protect herself because she's the only girl in her generation. If she's like some like Marjan, I don't think it will work out that well.
Well, Machan doesn't work well no matter how many people are in the group, to be honest. I mean, her
No,
personality-
Machan. See, that's the problem though, is that Machan actually has a bunch of people who like her just because she'll give
Crazy.
you attention.
That's,
Yeah.
that's true.
Like, I cannot count the number of people who, seeing Machan will just scream, Machan! Because they know that she'll go, ah! And she'll, like, wave her arms and jump around,
Actually, yeah, for Machan, in her defense, seeing her live is different from seeing her being retarded on DVDs. Seeing her live
Different.
is much good.
Instead of saying good.
It's much better. It's much better.
Keyword
I-
different.
I'd say that.
Okay.
So yeah.
But, yeah.
Any other thoughts about her character?
I don't know what her character is yet. I haven't seen enough of her.
She has,
That's a good
she
point.
has no
It's hard to
reaction.
make the judgment right now.
It is. From what the short clips that we've seen on her, well, a lot of the people who are already anti Sakura have been saying that she has bad attitude towards Morning Musume, or a really bad mindset towards the group already, because I think when they asked her which senpai she admires the most, she said,
From the current.
from the current lineup.
Yeah, from the current
Yeah.
lineup.
But that she does admire Naki's dancing abilities.
She should say Machan.
Say anyone, it doesn't matter who. It's just she should
True.
not say no one.
Yeah, Haruka.
It's true. It's kind of a bad precedent to say no one because it doesn't. But at the same time, I would have to admit that could be a strategy internally, just to give her the unique outset on her own, because that prevents her
What, to
from
make-
initially being thought of as like Fuku-chan or.
You mean to make her look like she's so stuck up that she doesn't have anybody else in the group in her eyes?
Well, see, that's the problem, is that when it's taken the wrong way, when it backfires on you, because I admit that it doesn't look like a great idea when it happens, but I understand the idea was to make her different. If this was an intentional ploy, like, okay, we need you to try to be unique, and so she said no one, because she didn't want to be Fukutu or Edipontu, then what you get is that thought that, oh, she's so stuck up, she doesn't like anybody, or, the fact that her reaction was, I guess what people were saying, like, null, or you think that she's a robot, is because she's trying to be not Ma-chan, or not, when they're all together and they're really noisy kids, and, when Gaki would be in the corner, like, shaking her head and trying to find quiet, it gives her that specific, like, anti-character, so that people who want the anti-character will be okay with that.
Well, I don't think she was trying to be
Yeah.
to get that across, being the anti-person. It's just how she delivered the words when they asked her that question. She should have not started out with, well, it's not anybody in the current lineup. She should have just dropped that line and went straight for the answers. Then nobody would have picked her off and said,
Probably.
use these against
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, if she went straight to just saying I like Naki's dancing, no one would even be talking about it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's a rookie mistake. I mean,
Maybe.
That's why
I don't know
It is
whether
a
you
rookie-
could count that against her right away. I mean, besides it
think
being
she-
a rookie mistake.
I don't think she's trying to use that to be unique, because there are much better answers. So, and it's way too risky. Again, being the only person in the new generation is way too risky to say things like that as a strategy.
Right. She will be getting everything that she does will be looked on like 100 times more closely than if multiple members in her generation. So
True.
just
It's a
gonna have
risky maneuver. I'm willing to admit that, but I'm still on the rails, thinking if that's what somebody's plan is, just to try to make it so that she sticks, then it
I wonder
makes
if they even have
sense.
a plan.
Right.
Oh, that's the good question. Do they have a plan?
Tsunku knows, or maybe he doesn't even know.
That'd be amazing if Tsunku didn't know. She's like,
I would
oh,
love-
free balling.
Probably doesn't know.
He probably doesn't know. So to close up this topic, we know that the official results have come in with Sakura making it into the 11th gen, and we have a lot of eggs who auditioned, didn't get into the final 6, but but they were seen at some parts of the audition through all of the various footage that has been released. And so a lot of egg fans are still blindly optimistic that something will come out of this audition. Right now, the current hope is that they want a new unit from Hello Project made purely of eggs. For example, one fan has listed this specific 4-member lineup of Hama-chan, who isn't an egg, but Nanami, Fuyuyu, and Karin.
Karin-sama!
And so those particular 4, a lot of fans are hoping that those 4 girls will become kind of the new Smilage. And
Smudge said.
yeah,
Oh.
with now
Carnage.
with extra member colorness, everything.
Up mileage.
Yeah.
I just need to replace Fuyuyu with Sayubi, and you've got a pretty good lineup there.
Pretty much all the top eggs and Hama-chan. But yeah, so I mean, a lot of people are hoping for, again, something to come out of the eggs. It's something that they hope every time an audition ends up with
Blunders
not
in
getting
some
it.
way that they don't like.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, what do you guys think of this? I know it happens every time, but do you think it's likely something will come up again? Because this is now this book's 4 editions that the top eggs have not gotten past the final round.
I'm one of the blindly optimistic. I so
like to be blindly
desperately
optimistic
need
about it.
Karen to get into something. Solo
To be
or
something,
group, she's
I mean,
got
not
to do something.
necessarily in a group, but just doing something.
I'd actually be happier with it being a soloist myself, but
Yeah.
Yes.
with a new group that would also be good.
So just anything right now.
Well, we do need a new group anyway. I really think we do. I mean, it looks like Berry's Kobo are on the way out. No tour this autumn. First time in years, no tour in the autumn.
Right.
It's a good sign. And with Mano leaving as well, that's a hole for a soloist.
Oh, solo opening!
Yeah.
Co-pink solo.
Yes.
Yay.
I agree that UFA or Hello Project, they need a new group, but I'm not sure if the company can handle a new group though. Because, Smilage failed after they ruined it, and yeah, I don't know if they have the confidence to start it up. But yes, Kami-sama, please give her solo. I mean, that is instant win. Instant win.
There's actually a good point that you bring up, because a lot of fans were, in response to this particular thread, were saying, I don't think UFA is going to take any more chances after what happened to Smilage. Probably not going to risk any more anytime soon.
But interesting to say that the only reason why Smilage died was because they took a chance with Smilage, with second gen. So like they had a winning formula, and then they killed it by peeing into it.
What?
They ruined it.
Well, okay. Some good imagery there.
One might argue that it was heading in that direction and they saw it coming, and that was the way that they dealt with the blow, which is just as bad, but sounds less like it was intentional.
We'll never know whether
Yeah, we'll
Sakashi
never know,
left
but-
because of the announcement, or if it was going to be, it was pre-announced to them and that's why she left. So they use it as an excuse for a second gen. And whether that was even why Yukari left as well. Was it the second gen, or was she just genuinely
No, go
sick and
read my
tired of it?
piece.
We will never know.
Go read my
Great
piece.
mysteries of Hello
The
Project.
universe.
Go read my piece.
Of
I
the
thought-
universe. But no, it's a good question talking about, if they would be willing to try, or if they can even try making a new group, because, a lot of the alternative to that was to think, oh, well, you could make, Mono 2.0, you could try to make another Mono, but then Mono wasn't doing that well anyway, which is why she's leaving, so it becomes a big question of what do they feel they can do, and whether or not they can actually make money off of it.
Right. That's very true. So I guess really the only thing is we can wait and see. I'm also gonna put myself on the optimistic side and hope they just do something to make use of it that have been sitting there for so long.
Yeah.
They should. It's a shame.
And not up girls. Up girls. We don't.
Well, even up girls doesn't especially count because they're still struggling to get, their recognition.
Yeah,
They still
Yeah.
have the temporary on them,
Yeah, it's way too
So-
slow of a burn for up girls.
but at least they have work somewhat frequently.
That's true.
It's not much, but I don't
Work that no one really cares.
know. I mean, I feel bad for Up Girls too because they
Yeah.
put a ton of their time and eggs as well, and they're not really getting much of a return on it. But I mean, the idol business is pretty rough, so not everyone can do a million singles.
True. What
Yep.
do we know? We're just
We're not
fans.
girls. What do we know?
Care about bikinis apparently, and
Yeah,
eating
pass.
out.
Yep.
Anyways, on
And-
that note, let's bring back one of our most favorite corners on this show, the Sanrio
Ooh.
Rage Minute.
Yeah.
Sanrio, come on down.
Hello. It's been like 20 something episodes or more since I've had a Rage Minute. So
So there should be
Yeah.
a lot of rage compressed in the same amount of time.
Most likely
Yeah.
an extra concentrated dose of rage today.
Just
Yeah,
remember,
I'm
if
just
you
living
go
it up.
over a minute, there is a Batsu game associated with it.
Alright.
Lots of game will be you have to go to Sakura's handshake.
Oh, damn.
And tell her you love her.
Yeah.
That is way too risky for me to do.
Let's get 1 minute on the clock.
Yep, we have 1 minute on the clock. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, start.
Go.
Tsunku, you can go flank yourself in the back alley with your mic stand up your ass. The new member is Oda Sakura. What are you doing with 11th Gen? Actually, more importantly, what are you doing with Kani-sama by leaving her on the side again? Look, Tsunku, Kani-sama is not the green pepper on the plate that you can leave on the side. She is the steak. You asked for a stinger. You wanted to look for an ace material who would instantly win. We won the Kani-sama. It is the perfect match that everyone's been waiting for since the beginning of time. Kani-sama sings better than most of the galaxy, and her single was selling over the roof like French fries at the French fries convention. Adding her would be the instant win. Tsunku, you did your boss something right, I'll give you that. You got one person in, you got someone from the X, which was something that I've always saying you should do. That was good, but with all the conditions right and Kani-sama being right there, you picked the wrong one. It's like getting a penalty kick at the last minute of a soccer match, and instead of the ball, you kicked your shoe in, and then you tripped and fell. Now my question is, why hasn't Kani-sama quit yet? You better have something in mind for her, and haven't told her, and you have told her about it. For her sake, for the sake of all the Kani fans who has been waiting for her forever, and we have been crying in the corner for every single time she's missing out. So in conclusion, until you realize what you have been doing wrong, go back to punching yourself in the balls.
And final time, 1 minute, 13 seconds.
Ah, damn it.
Fail.
Fail.
Let me look up when's her handshake.
Yeah,
Ethan.
we'll on that now.
But I'm hoping Tsunku heard what I said.
So look forward to the report coming out on takamario.net of Sanrio.
I'll tell you what, if there's a Morning Musume handshake event, whilst me and Firen are in Japan this winter, I'll buy him a ticket and make sure and give up my time with with him first.
Wow.
I'll push him in and I'll tell her that he's
The
a
#1 fan.
favorite number one fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Excellent.
You guys need to line
I
up
guess I'll
together so you can point. This guy here loves you. Say it to him.
Yeah, in fact, I'll get a T-shirt made with I'm with Sakura Oda's fan with an arrow pointing to.
And no, just print out a picture of him on it, and no more where you are.
Photoshop me with her.
A picture of
Yeah,
him, a
Photoshop
picture of
your-
her, and a
the
big love
faces
heart in the
together.
middle.
Oh,
Right.
man. That is so not gonna happen. But yeah, I hope Tsunku heard what I said, because
You went over your minute. It might happen.
go stick your mic stand up your ass, bitch.
Lots of games coming.
Right.
Lots of games coming.
So on that note, let's move on to our final topic of the day, which is also related to the 11th Gen audition topic. There was a thread started about a week or two ago that was talking about what should happen for Morning Musume's future, and with the audition at the time, we had basically had zero information, not even any audition footage. So this was a lot of speculation and some pretty good discussion as to where they're currently at and what the future should be like, and how things should go, what they should focus on. And so the thread title is for Morning Musume to kind of get back into the center spotlight again within the idol world. Should they focus on, for future members, getting a girl that the masses of Japan can relate to? Meaning, not so much going with the young Genki style kids that they've been doing, but picking like that the really pretty older, like big sister type character. You might even say like someone like Ikubo, but like even more marketable to the common people out there. Because the person who started this thread is thinking that's the one thing that Morning Musume is missing right now in the group.
And that's the one thing that's not possible right now because they've lowered the age range so greatly.
Well, I mean, like the big sister character, I think if you hit 16 or 17, I don't think they're talking about like 20 plus type character.
Yeah, even then, it's hard to do that because you're expecting a certain level of maturity. And it's possible to do that at maybe 16 or 17, but with the dynamic that they have now, adding that kind of person and at the same time being within that rigid Japanese structure of like senior person and junior person, you know, it would be a really awkward dynamical shift to have that right away. So I think the only way that you could get that with the current setup without massive graduations or things like that is you would have to wait it out. And you would have to let, you know, Haruna kind of grow and eventually take the reins and things like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, so Haruna does kind of fit into everything you've been saying, though, because she is the one she's quite a bit older than 9th gen. At the same time, she has to figure out a way to balance out her maturity with, at the same time, matching the energy of the 10th gen.
Yeah.
So a lot of people point her as the example for this scenario, but I think they could probably always use more, or I mean, they think maybe she's not enough of that image.
Well, I'm pretty sure the company thinks she agrees with what Invis says. That's why she's on TV a lot lately.
Well,
So-
I mean, to be fair, you can't put Machan on TV.
Well, you could, but it would just be like 15 minutes of screaming
I mean,
and jumping.
She would get lost on the way to the TV studio, and you'd get no show.
Well, that's what the managers are for, you know?
Keep up with her.
I don't know.
Anyway,
It's
so
not
yeah.
like she would jump out of a car, so...
You don't know that.
True. You're being quick on the gun there.
So, interesting dynamic that this question brings up because people have responded in this thread. Well, I think it's something that may attract the more common, the regular people out there, but at the same time, you know, all the idol fans out there are like the lolicon type figures, and they just want the youngest girl. How do you find a balance between that?
They need members of each type. Isn't that what they're saying?
Something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems to be like when you have an audition, you should try to get a mix, kind of like what they did with 10th gen. Like, you know, someone older, someone younger, and some in between. Have a good variety instead of always being how they followed in the past, very predictable, like, age set.
Well, but I feel like that the whole 10th gen, they did it to match with 9th gen, so it could be balanced. Instead, how the
Balanced
people
by
bring
numbers, you mean, or?
by number and mainly by number, so they can do comparisons with the two generations, which they have been doing for a whole year now. And I think maybe the people that brought up this topic probably thought that 11th gen should be something else other than, oh, let's compare to another generation, or have some different type of girls, so we don't have cookie cutter sets
Right.
each generation.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Except, of course, it might get compared to Kaharu.
But that's kind of the thing, though, is that this whole generation, if you're the kind of person who's platinum mage, blah, 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 you know, and this gears towards them in that sense, is that that's what you have, because you have 9th gen, which is, you know, one solid group, then you added 10th gen, which was a solid group, but mingled into with ninth gen at the same time. And now you have 11th that's one standalone person that basically reflects 5, 6, and 7.
Right, and
So-
a lot of people are calling the 11th gen the next Koharu, and then the
Yeah.
haters are calling the next Aika. But
What?
But
So
nothing
okay.
is wrong with Aika.
Yeah.
You know what they need to do then? They need to add 2 Chinese girls.
No, this time they have to go to another country. Maybe they'll go to Thailand
Oh,
because they've
don't
been
go
doing a lot of
Thailand,
Thailand stuff
don't.
now.
wow, I can't believe you just said that.
It was a
Oh.
joke.
Go punch yourself in the balls.
Hey, at
No, what
least
they-
I didn't say Korea.
They could maybe get some American,
No, also fire.
Japanese girls. Yeah, but Japanese girls who,
Go kill yourself.
born in America.
We tried that. It's called
Coconut
Coconut
Musume,
Musume.
that just-
yes. You know.
But they went really well.
Yeah,
So popular.
but I mean, so far the American Japanese celebrities in Japan, they're very popular, but I don't think they're popular for the right reasons. Like if you look at Trindle, she wouldn't really fit in kind of scrutiny that let's go through.
Yeah, hell no.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird market to try to do that. I don't think it's something that.
I don't suppose any Western girl would actually fit with the scrutiny.
Yeah, that too. That would be a problem.
I think if they want to make Morning Musume mainstream again, well, time is the issue. But another way they can do it is that whenever they get new girls, again, build up the eggs. Put the lolicon fans in, get them to follow the eggs, so that when the girls kind of grow up more and develop more in terms of personality, you can put them into Morning Musume, and you would have the girls ready to go and the fans ready to go as well. So that Morning Musume would be, the mainstream part of our project, and the lolicon part would be with the eggs, and I think that would work.
That's a pretty good idea, but I think for the eggs,
I don't think eggs do enough. is the
yeah,
problem.
they'd have to increase their activity.
Yeah.
Which
So
I
build
think-
it up.
Yeah. Oh, so build
Yeah.
up the whole thing. Just make
Yeah,
it
build up
almost
the whole
like
thing.
as its own group essentially.
Yes, I think if the fans are alright, I'm gonna say it. If the fans are kimoy enough to be lolicons, they would go out their way to follow eggs, even if they are not as public as Morning Musume. So in
There are
order
people
to
that does that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why I'm saying it will work. If they want to balance out Morning Musume to be the more mainstream part, to come out to the general public as the mainstream part of Hollow Project, then use the eggs for the hardcore
For all the lolicon
fans. Yeah, the lolicon fans, if that's the term we're going with.
Did I hear you right saying that if people are kimoy enough to follow the eggs?
Yeah, this is coming from the person who follows Haruka around.
Haluka!
But when he's just calling me kimoy, this is just not on air as well.
But the
I think
general,
all
like,
our
it's
listeners-
not a bad idea. We're gonna shift
we're
back into
all
the
talking
idea
about
instead
Kali.
of starting to bash on each other here. But not that it's a good idea in theory, but the problem tends to be with that is that really what they're aiming for? I mean, we're talking about like, mainstream and things like that, and yet they've spent the past 2 years almost going, we need to make our girls younger because why?
Yeah,
Because our girls are getting too
fan
old,
base
yeah.
wants.
they don't know the
Yeah,
direction.
so you're versing fan base versus mainstream, and the thing is that they're almost conflicting ideas. So if
Yeah,
you want to say we want to be more mainstream, then that's totally against the past year and a half of development almost.
Well, right now we're saying if they should, not saying that they will. And I don't know.
Well, it's
I don't know if they should.
Saying, would they?
if they want a group to be mainstream, it should be cute.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're getting there, they're getting
Wait,
popular.
the adjective or the group?
Yeah, the
I think we're almost
group,
positive.
because they're getting to the right sort of age now to be more of a mainstream group.
Right, they are.
And they're gaining in
And they're-
popularity now as well. So,
Well, and it's their musical style and their dancing ability, all of that stacks up in their favor as well.
that's a good point because nobody's mentioned it at all. The new single is now the biggest selling single they've ever had.
Really?
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, but then again, it all comes from the fact that they've started that AKB style of PR campaign for it.
So the answer is not
That's
to
what
add
mainstream-
mainstream members, but to do handshake
mainstream
events
method.
Lots
and
of
backflips.
handshakes. Yeah. And
So it's not
right.
So
Also
it's not
acrobats.
it's not making the group mainstream. It's the company has to go mainstream by spending more money in promotion.
I'm sure they make a lot of money out of it. So
They do, but UFA they never spend money.
for that initial investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make
So
better videos, damn it.
it'd be interesting. Maybe all it comes down to is how they handle the PR, and if they switch to like handshakes and group shots every time. Like Morning Musume might get 100k sales every single.
Could possibly be.
To be honest, they could get more sales with this new worldwide handshake thing they're doing. Instead of having them buying, people have to buy the local version of the CD from the country they're in. If they had to buy it from, say, CD Japan in advance and get a voucher, then they'd all count as sales in Japan.
But then they don't get. But they couldn't get like a good deal.
Yeah,
like
wouldn't give them a good statistic, which they would naturally inflate slightly. But yeah, they would have no idea how much is actually being made for them from it. So that's the whole.
Well, yeah, but that would inflate their sales quite a lot.
Sacrificing knowing if it was working for temporary boost in sales. Yeah.
Well, the thing is
know.
that as you get bigger and as you start hitting higher sales figures, people take more notice of you. It's like, oh, hang on, this group's number one, let's see what they're like. If people haven't really followed them before.
That's
Right.
very true. I mean, maybe all it comes down to is just getting to that kind of threshold where people take notice of you purely based on numbers rather than actually looking at you first before making any sort of decision.
Yeah, like AKB.
Nice jab there.
Thanks. We're waiting to go in all night.
Yeah. So, on that note, I think we'll end the discussions for this episode. If you guys listening have any other thoughts or contributions to any of the 11th Gen topics, or how to make Musume, or any group in Hello Project for that matter, more mainstream, please feel free to comment on our VOD page, or the YouTube page, or on our forum. On that note, Biz, do you want to take it over?
Sure. Let's get going with This Week in Takamario. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode, but let's go down some of the things that have been going on this week for us at Takamario. As always, we've got our Takamata pick. We're always looking for new Takamata picks, by the way, and we've changed the criteria a little bit since we know that it's a little bit hard for new people or those people not on the cutting edge to find something really recent. So if you guys haven't tried to find a Takamata pick before, we're opening it up a little bit. If you've got, good pictures from like a DVD that you've just got recently that just, came out a couple weeks ago, we're counting that as well in your contribution. So go ahead and try and hit that up, find a nice picture, make a nice caption, might come out on our front page, and your name will be there. So good way to build cred. Okay, as always.
Our cred means a lot.
Hey, we're hundreds strong and growing. Like, rate, and subscribe to our page, YouTube. You guys who are on YouTube.
Twitter, everything.
Yeah. As always, we do provide lots of content, but we're a small group, so we're still building up. This week we did have our Takamata Monday segment, so you can go ahead and catch up on anything that you've missed for the past week from there, including major news information. If there are translations for certain sources, you'll get those too, and links to products that are coming out. That way, you'll be able to give feedback or support to the girls by buying your favorite things. We've got a report recently came up about the Morning Musume at Harmony Hall. That was regarding, the dress rehearsal event and all of the news regarding that. So go ahead and hit that up. You can leave comments in that article or on our forum, forum.takamario.net. Radio Fridays is still on vacation, though, but you can always go into the forums and discuss radio shows and fun things like that. If there are any spot translations, you'll find them there. For one of the, if you're watching this on YouTube, our homepage is takamario.net, our forum.takamario.net. YouTube users, people who are watching the VOD who aren't on YouTube can go check out our YouTube page. That's user Konya TKMR, where you'll not only find these recordings, but also our non-live 2chan exploring show, Hatana. So you can go ahead and check those out. As always, we do want rate, subscribes, feedback, because everything that you guys say makes a difference to us. Forum also contains lots of information for that, or you can hit us up on Twitter, user Konya TKMR. Any of these things not good for you? You guys want to be a little more personal, ask a little bit more? You can always email sanrio@takamaruyo.net. We're still looking for that first email.
Any
Yep,
day
I
now.
just checked. Nope, still nothing. I just checked.
You just checked. Still nothing. What does that tell
Yeah.
you people? We've been asking this for, it's almost been over a year probably, and still no luck.
He's just so popular.
He's
He's our
just so
number one-
popular.
He's our ace, man.
Yeah, man.
That being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 41 of KonyaMotakamario.net. As always, we'll see you guys next time we have enough things to talk about, and next time we all have time to gather together in our studio. Our studio! Patch. So
He still
for...
smells of paint though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well...
don't
It seems to be redecorated.
Don't go too close to the walls, they might still be wet on that side.
I just dropped my Coke.
No,
we go
Better clean that up,
Yeah,
carpet's expensive, man.
yeah.
Oh man, we need
For
a new
S-
studio now.
Anyway,
We got
for
so much money.
Asferis, Turbos86, Ouroboros, and Sunreal, this was Invis saying bye, Pon. Aloha!
Bye.
Wow.
More Hawaii tours!
What?
Circulate the tapes.